Why limiting beliefs are preventing you from being happy. Hi, I'm Dan Ross, the Anxiety Helper, and in this video I'm going to talk about how there's unconscious filters inside your mind that determine your experience in the world. They can determine if you're going to be generally unhappy about something or in general, or happy about a specific event or things in general. Now, beliefs are not opinions like red cars are better than blue cars. They're the unconscious filters of how we experience the world. They're generally residing in our unconscious mind, and they operate outside of our awareness. But they determine what we focus on, they determine how we feel about things, and they're often the result, at least on the limiting side, of what are called adverse childhood experiences. So something may happen like, mom left the child at home without a babysitter when they were 6 years old, right? I've had experiences like that with clients. And so they may feel that they were neglected, of course, and that may create an unconscious belief that I'm not worthy, right? Because mom was doing that rather than, being with me, or that I'm unsafe because I'm alone and I'm 6 years old. And again, we don't tend to consciously think those things, but we might just feel a little unsafe or a little alone or a little unworthy. And that's an example of a belief that forms because of something that happens. And if you've tried to change behaviors at a behavioral level before, like, feeling some anxiety and saying, stop being anxious, you have nothing to be anxious about, but you still feel a little unsafe or a little unworthy or something, it's often the result of that kind of experience. So there's some basic categories that these beliefs can fall into, and the actual wording and the actual flavor of them will be a little different for everybody. But we often have basic beliefs about whether we're safe or not in the world, whether we're worthy or not in the world, whether we're loved or lovable in the world or not, whether we're unique and special or not, whether we're inherently competent or not. And so these, again, are filters that can limit us. And by the way, there are empowering beliefs as well that people can have, such as, there's no such thing as failure. Like, if you try on what it's like to move through life believing there's no such thing as failure, I can't fail, that might be very different than like, I have to do everything perfect or I'm a failure, right? Which I've run into a lot of that belief as well. Or, people don't like me versus everyone likes me, right? So that's an example when you really have a filter like that moving through the world, that it makes for a very different experience. If you think about going to a social event, so somebody has social anxiety, it's probably because, what do I have to offer? People don't like me. I'm, quiet and shy, versus everyone likes me. If you imagine walking to a room and everyone likes me, that's an example of changing a disempowering belief to an empowering belief, which will help you to feel happier, to feel more safe, more loved, more of all those things that most people want. Now, here's the thing, you can't usually know your own limiting beliefs because they're unconscious, and that's why it's useful to work with a coach to help you elicit those disempowering beliefs. And there are a series of questions, a series of processes that can help to uncover those limiting beliefs. That's step one, and then to actually change it to something more empowering, and then to condition it in. And often I assign people an affirmation to put the belief into their unconscious mind, to condition it in. And often when people do affirmations, say, well, affirmations don't work. Well, if you haven't cleared out the limiting belief, then the affirmation probably won't work. If you really believe deep down that you're unworthy and people don't like you, and you say, well, people like me, it's just not going to go in, because we have to clear out the deeper experience, the belief that is, if it's tied to something like survival or tied to something like feeling safe or feeling worthy, it's going to have more power than just a few simple words that you say as an adult. But once we've cleared it, and I give people a specific process on how to do the affirmations that work, then you can begin to more and more hear it in your mind if you're more auditory. So instead of the negative self-talk, like nobody likes me, it's everybody likes me, right? To create a symbol or visual inside of your mind if you're more visual, and to actually feel the feeling that goes along with that. That allows us to create a thought molecule that is a series of experiences that you put together inside your mind, like something you see, something you hear, something you feel. When you do all that at the same time, you can really get the full experience of, yes, people like me, or I truly feel safe, to have those empowering beliefs instead of the disempowering beliefs. So that's how beliefs can affect whether you're unhappy or whether you're happy, or unhappier or happier. I'm Dan Ross, and discover the power of your own limiting beliefs and discover the power of replacing them with empowering beliefs.